So, we are discussing the food laws, why it should be, where it should be, how it should be, right. We also saw that codex, international this regulatory items or laws, they are being followed by many countries. The reason being, they are also comprising of the international bodies like FAO or WHO or UN. All these big organizations are in the apex body of this. So, we said that for a country, whether it is developed or developing or underdeveloped anywhere, the country can have the what should I say, it is that it can either accept those international things just like that as a whole, or may they can change them or introduce some new things or delete according to the requirement, according to the situation, according to the condition of that country, right. In this aspect, we came up in the last class about the food safety, right, and we said that food safety is such a vast word, wide word, which encompasses many things, right. Food safety can also be in terms of supply of the food, right. Maybe all laws and other things are everything maintained, but food is not available, then that is also a safety for the people who are the consumer. So, it is not only in the bad sense of misutilizing laws or undermining the orders, or overlooking the regulations. This is also true that we also said, of course, that quality is also vis-a-vis quality of the food, but the supply is also another term, another thing which comes under this umbrella of this safety, that how food can be made available to all the people everywhere, right. That also brings the safety of the food, safety in terms of not consumption, in terms of availability, right. But by and large, when laws and orders are coming into, then it is more in terms of the safe, that is microbial safetiness we talk about, or in terms of the quality parameters we talk about, right. That consuming food, people should not be in any way affected, whatever be the way, be it microbial, be it your energy consumption, or be it or energy availability, or be it by the what we said, that the nutritional conditions of the food, right. So, we came to that we in our country, in India, in India in 2006, this parliament imposed one assembly of all the earlier laws and standards which were there to one place, and that is called Food Safety and Securities Order or Act, Food Safety and Securities Act 2006. We said based on that an organization had come up that is called FSSAI, and who is taking now all the responsibilities, all the framing of the laws and orders, and how to control, how to monitor, and how to implement all these things are coming into there. So, like if we said that some more orders we left out. If you remember, we had said many, and since there was a shortage of time, some more orders which are also under this FSS Act are Milk and Milk Products Order 1992. They are also repeated after commencement of the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. Under this umbrella of Food Safety and Standards Act 2006, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or FSSAI, has been established, which consolidates various acts and orders that have hitherto handled food related issues in various ministries and departments. The purpose of building this body or regulatory institute or organization is that to lay down science based standards for articles of food, different articles of food, and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale, and import to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. So, basically these two are the basically these two are the primary reason why, and these two are the primary reasons why, that is to lay down science based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale, and import to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. That has become the primary concern of the FSSAI. So, we can say that FSSAI is entrusted with following functions to perform. Number 1, the framing of regulations to lay down the standards and guidelines, standards also associated with the guidelines, that the standards and guidelines in relation to articles of food and specifying typically appropriate system of enforcing these various standards, right. Then laying down mechanisms and guidelines for accreditation. This is accreditation is means you are saying, or you are giving some people, some organizations authentication so that they can act for you. That is all what is accreditation, right. So, guidelines for accreditation of certification bodies, so these also being done by this FSSAI, engaged in certification of food safety management system for food business. And third one is laying down procedure and guideline for accreditation of laboratories and notification of the accredited laboratories. So, laboratories meaning where I still remember one fact that at some point of time, maybe couple of decades back, suddenly some people rushed. I am not saying the other things, right? The fact is, some people came with some sample that it is alleged by the police that these people are mixing one with the other. It was oil, one with the other. Whether it was, and those people only came forward that whether it is really a mixture or blending of one or two or many, or what are those, to identify them came forward to us. Then, though we could, but since it afterwards will go to the court, that is law, that bigger umbrella court for different reasons beyond our knowledge. So, those things who will certify? Are we empowered to do that? Yes, we are academicians. We can definitely find out what are the things, what are the right and what are the wrong things. But we are not entitled, we are not certified, we are not entrusted, we are not authorized by controlling bodies, controlling organizations. So, we had to say the situation that though we can, but that in the eye of court or law, it will not stand because we don't have any such authentication to certify. So, that is what, how and in what way organizations can be accredited so that means they can be identified, recognized such that they can perform such tests or such discrepancies could be answered by those organizations, and they are called accredited bodies, right. So, these are the 2-3 reasons why FSSAI was established. We have discussed. Some more we can say, to provide scientific advice and technical support to central government and state governments in the matters of framing the policy and rules in areas which have a direct or indirect bearing of food safety and nutrition, right. Yes, if depending on the country, whether it is a centrally controlled by the country people, or maybe there is apex central body and there may be sub bodies like states and others. So, depending on where it is and how it is to be applied, right. So, when we are talking about FSSAI, definitely we can directly tell that we have both the central as well as state governments. So, technically the government should be, these kind of central or state governments should be properly guided or technically guided, scientifically guided, how it to impose the laws or regulations, as well to frame different policies, right. Different policies do come up at different times, you have noticed. So, how to frame those policies, how to nurture those policies, or how to implement those policies, as well how to control those kind of policies. These are to be governed by the basis of scientific knowledge, and this is to be supported by the FSSAI. Some other like to collect and collate data regarding food consumption, incidence and prevalence of biological risk, contaminants in food residues, of various food source, contaminants in food products, identification of emerging risk, and introduction of rapid alert system. So, though our time limits are there, but still there are certain things which unless we discuss here will remain untold. You see, we are saying that biological risk or contaminants in food, right. Now, yes, in the eye of law or court, in the court, things may or may be different. Like, so one food product is contaminated. Then the automatic question comes, if the food product is contaminated, whether it is contaminated or not. So, who will do this job? Those accredited laboratories, they will find out that the level of contamination. Then, if it is in India, so we are talking about FSSAI, so it is under India. FSSAI is one apex body and they are controlling and regulating the situations. But the problem comes that now it is contaminated, established by some already recognized laboratories or agencies who are competent to do that. Then the question comes, it is confirmed it is contaminated. Now the contamination came from where? During the production of that particular food, or during the processing, or during the transport, or during handling. All these factors do come up. So, there must be somebody who will negotiate, who will go into detail of these problems and then give guidelines to the respective departments or respective organizations that this can be concluded like this, and it may be within the limit or beyond the limit. But yes, every contaminations or every contaminants do have its own limit. Generally, if you have seen that these contaminants are allowed in terms of either parts per million ppm or in parts per billion, depending on the contaminant, right. There are many which our body can tolerate a little higher quantity. There are many our body cannot tolerate even in very small quantity. So, depending on the contaminant, the level of contamination or the tolerance of the contamination can be different. Now, this FSSAI or this kind of organizations who are the controlling agent, they will make the scientific guideline to the controlling body or to the deciding bodies to take the right decision, right. So, apart from that, to collect and collate data regarding food consumption, incidence and prevalence of biological risk, contaminants in food, residues of various contaminants, contaminants in food products, identification of emerging risks and introduction of rapid alert system, all these are to be guided or to be framed by the food safety and security authorities of India, right. Apart from this, some other like to provide training programs for persons who are involved or intend to get involved in food business. Now, you see, food business again is a big and wide term. How and why? You see, business, food is the commodity. But when we are talking about business, it starts with the growth or cultivation, agriculture. From there, harvesting. From there, post-harvesting. From there, processing. From there, the packaging and distribution. From there, the retail. So, all these stages, anywhere, in any part, contamination might have occurred. Your end result, your laboratory has detected the contamination and also the level of contamination. Maybe that is within the limit or maybe that is beyond the limit. That is altogether different, but identified that this contamination is there, there is a contamination or this contaminant is there. Then the question comes, how much is the tolerance limit? Who will say? This apex body has already framed based on maybe international standards or maybe based on your local, depending on the situation, is already framed. And then it comes the people who will be handling this situation right from the production of the commodity to the finished product which is consumable by the people, by the consumer. All these stages, people are to be acquainted with the situation, acquainted with the risk, acquainted with the laws of regulations. So, that can be done by framing, by imparting some knowledge through some training program. Who will dictate, who will decide on that? FSSAI can do such kind of things. This is their power, empowered with such kind of deciding facilities or deciding authorities, right. Then we come to that what else FSSAI need to do to contribute to the development of international technical standards for food, sanitary and phytosanitary standards. So, to contribute to the development of international technical standards of food, sanitary and phytosanitary standards, and to promote general awareness about food safety and food standards. This is one of the biggest umbrella that encompasses everything, that awareness program. Country like India, where I am not going to say anything on whether it is true or false, but it is alleged that many people do not have 2 times food a day, leaving aside 3 to 4 times or exotic and other foods. Normal, very basic requirement of food might not be available for every people everywhere. Then the thing appears those who are not availing this required food supply, then they certainly will go for taking some or other things which may or may not be scientifically acceptable or not. So, if some people, some organizations, they can vouch for this safety part to the people who are already getting or those who are not getting, then the spread of the knowledge, the spread of the requirement of the safety awareness, spread of the basis of safety of the food in terms of microbial, in terms of quality, all aspects are to be introduced. So, who will do this? This will be done by FSSAI by properly training many organizations, many people, by giving authority to certify some tests, some results which may or may not be acceptable or which may or may not be at par with the requirements. So, those results are to be certified, those results are to be authenticated. Yes, this contains these materials. So, how they have found out? Those procedures are also to be standardized. Otherwise, I measure, I hope one small example in it is good enough to understand that blood sugar people do for very age old time, right. In earlier days, it used to be used, if you have seen the chemistry books, food chemistry or any other, that Benedict's reagent reducing, or so that used to be used for finding out this blood sugar level. But with time, this is getting changed and changed. The new and new techniques, new and new instrumentations are coming up. So, if I measure based on my knowledge, based on my understanding, that will give one result, one value, and another organization who is accredited by this unique body FSSAI, they will measure based on the guidelines given by FSSAI, and there cannot be any controversy in that. So, people will adhere to that. Yes, this is a recognized body who have done it, whose values are like that, procedures are like that, methodologies are like that, and the result is likely to be correct. So, these all rather are being imposed, are being implemented, are being framed by the body called FSSAI, and they are also framing, implementing the Food Safety Standards Act 2006. Okay? So, then in the next class we will go into some more about the standards, about the organizing or controlling agencies. Okay? Thank you.